Julian, let's talk about coaching here in Canada and in Ontario compared to Europe. You went there as a youngster. You saw coaches at a young age. Then you played pro. In your mind, thinking about growing up here in Ontario and in Canada, what are the major gaps? What are the major differences that our youth still are not being taught here, or that they're way behind that the kids have in Italy, Portugal, Spain, and Germany that you wish would change?
Well, for me, the levels of coaching and the academy for youngsters in Canada, I mean, it's still incomparable, compared to what Europe has produced. But the possibility of improving it and having something in the long term, it still exists. It's still there for us, and I think it's important to acknowledge that coaching in Canada. It needs a lot of work, and with the academies that I've noticed across the country, and now you start to see Canadian coaches coaching Canadian teams. But those are the type of things that we need to help the program with. And now that you have Benito in charge and giving us coaching courses and whatnot, these are the things that we need to use and better ourselves with. So hopefully, I mean, with the success, from the national team, that falls onto, the coaching and then also, the development of players. Long term, we begin to see a more complete program, with the league also involved.
Let me ask you this, Julian. I'm a parent of two boys, and one is still in the system, and it's getting down to crunch time. His last year and a half before, if he's good enough, he gets to go down south to play, or maybe, who knows, maybe the NASL. That's a long shot. But I still see in the Canadian kids, the Ontario kids specifically, Julian, mentally, physically, we're way behind still the American kids, our cousins to the south. And also in regards to, you're a creative player out there on the field. You're a guy that loves to spread the ball around and use your mind. I feel that we're too rigid here in Canada, the kids. They're too robotic. How do we change that?
Well, I mean, it's what they're exposed to, right? And it's hard. When I see my nephew playing and he's only 8 years old, playing with the Fine Art Academy, and the stuff that he just learns in 1 year versus a 7-8-year-old in Canada, again, it comes down to what he's exposed to. And 7-8-year-olds are now, they don't even have academies for 7-8-year-olds, in the professional teams such as TFC Vancouver, Montreal, or Edmonton, Ottawa, right? So these are the things that the game is missing. I mean, once I think Canada has its own professional FIFA-approved league, then you can start to see the academies expand and reach out to younger generation. And also, these are the things that younger Canadians will have better exposure to. Right now, it's hard to develop that. I mean, that's a difficult task that Canadians have to deal with, and then you're forced to send your kid overseas at a young age, or you're forced to, or have your kid play, hopefully in the academy when he turns 13, which is, for me, already is too late. So it's important that there's a league for Canada, just like every country that has a league plays in the World Cup. They play in these big tournaments, and they all have a league. We seem to be the only country in the world that doesn't have a league, and that's the one thing that's hurting our development in the country.
You're bang on, Julian. I mean, look at Honduras. Let's look at Jamaica. Let's look at Costa Rica. They're small countries in comparison to us. We are a rich country here in Canada. We have so much. Our fields are aplenty, and we don't have a league coast to coast. The league that I worked in way back with the Toronto Blizzard, North York Rockets, the true Canadian Soccer League, that was the last time we got very close to getting to the World Cup, and that was under Bobby Leonarduzzi as well, with Lyndon Hooper and so many other players. But since then, we haven't had a sniff. And you're bang on. We need a league coast to coast. So how do we get the information out there to some big businessmen in this country and to the CSA to tell them, hey, go hard at some of these corporations to buy a franchise in Vancouver, in Toronto, in Edmonton, so we can have our own league? Because let's be honest, MLS is a great league, but it really caters to the American player, Julian.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I mean, it's still a difficult task to have Canadian players play in the MLS, because we're still considered foreigners, And for me, it's important that we have the Canadian players, playing in professional teams. And I mean, that's still a difficult thing just with MLS, even NASL. And I think the only way you could see this actually happening is with the success behind the national team. And that's the pressure that the national team has, is bring in some type of success, bring in results, and then at some point you'll get the revenue, and then you'll get the respect, and then you'll get all types of investors, hopefully, flooding money into the program. I mean, right now, to promote soccer in Canada, it's still a difficult thing to do. And I mean, you would think it'd be helping with TFC or even Vancouver, Montreal, but from my perspective, I feel that the development of football, it still seems to be stagnant, and even with these Canadian teams in the MLS, it's still not helping the Canadian player or the Canadian product. So
you're bang on, Julian. You sound like you're busy right now. We'll just keep you a couple more minutes and then we'll let you go. But you mentioned Canada and hopefully possibly getting to the World Cup in Russia. I got to tell you this, Julian, even if you guys were to get to the Hex, I think a lot of people would be satisfied, would be happy, because then you'd be playing the Mexicos, the Costa Ricas, the US of A's, the Jamaicas. How important is it for yourself, personally speaking? You've accomplished so much in your career. Would this be the cherry on the sundae to get Canada to the World Cup in Russia?
Yeah, it has to be done now. I mean, for me, already not making Brazil or even the Hex from qualifiers for Rio was already a huge setback for the program, and it's hurt us a lot. And you could just see it in the respect that we get now as Canadian players, just to get teams and clubs. Just the level of football that Canadian players are playing today from club level, it doesn't meet up to what it used to be, and that's what's hurting us right now. So now this World Cup qualifier for Russia, this is a massive deal, and it's almost like a do or die situation for the future of Canada. So
I couldn't agree with
that,
you.
or it's either some big timer comes in and really starts pumping in some money to back up the program.
I couldn't agree with you more. Quickly, you saw your brother Julian de Guzman play in the World Cup, almost getting to the final, almost winning it all. How great was that, watching your brother play in the World Cup?
Yeah, it was bittersweet. I mean, it would have been something special if it was me and him together on one country. But it was just a great thing to witness. I mean, it was his dream from when he was 7 years old. He's always wanted to play in the World Cup. He's always wanted to play for Holland, and he left at the age of 12. He knew what he wanted. He stuck by it, and that's the type of 12-year-olds we have in this country. It's just the problem is we don't have the same structure the way it was in Holland. So the talent exists just like Jonathan, but there's talent even better than him in Canada. But it's just a matter of grooming it in the right sense, and that's the only thing missing.
In closing, Julian, I want you to speak to the kids, to the coaches, to the parents, to the provincial bodies, to the national body. I want you to speak your mind. I want you to get what's off your chest to help this country, this nation that we love so much, get back to where it used to be, is going to the World Cup and beating the USA easily way back when. Talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone who's listening, and for all the Canadian fans of soccer, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the most participated sport in the country, and it just shows a lot of respect, and you could see the results in the amount of attention that it's been getting from all levels. And with that support, as long as we keep on believing and keep on fighting and keep setting our goals to really high limits. So for me, it's important that we just continue to stick together, because I mean the soccer community, we stand strong, and we still have a long way to go. But I believe, just like everyone else does, we will reach a World Cup, and we will change things around for soccer in Canada.